ClarifyGo, Users and Roles. Welcome to ClarifyGo. In this video, we will be covering the following subjects: how to create a new user, how to create multiple users by importing a CSV file, role permissions, and how to create a new role. Once you have logged into the ClarifyGo system, click the burger menu in the top left corner of the screen, followed by Settings, Manage Users, and Users. This will take you to the list of existing users. If you click the New User button in the top left corner, you will be presented with the Create User screen. The minimum to create a new user is a username and a password. The password must be between 12 and 64 characters and contain an uppercase letter, a lowercase letter, a number, and a special character. Other details such as first name, last name, email address, and time zone can also be entered. The most important thing to add is the role and the agent number. If the agent number is not added to a standard user, then they will not be able to view any of their calls. The role can be selected from the existing roles that are available. For this particular user, I'm going to create them as a standard user. Once the Create button is clicked, you can see the new user appear on the system. Users can be edited and deleted by clicking the Option button on the right-hand side. Users can be imported via a CSV file. The structure of the CSV file is shown on the Import Users screen, which is reachable by clicking the blue Import User button at the top left of the screen. Here I've prepared an existing file. Once you've chosen the file that is in the correct format, click the Import button and you will see a message telling you if the users have been created successfully. Existing users can also be updated this way. The test user here has been added successfully. I'm now going to show you the test file that I was using in order to begin the import. As you can see, the information provided, including the password and the proper structure, is in a comma-separated variable format with the carriage return at the end of the line. Users added in this way can be edited and deleted. Now we're going to take a look at the various roles that exist on the system as default and the functions that are available to users who are associated with these roles. We can take a look at the individual roles by clicking the burger menu in the top left, followed by Settings, Manage Users, and Roles. Here we see roles that are fairly typical for a ClarifyGo tenant, ranging from a normal user who is only allowed to view and listen to their own calls, through to a team manager or supervisor who would be able to listen to view calls within their own group or team. Evaluator and evaluatee relating to the quality management module and evaluations that can be created, and an administrator, which is the top level role able to make configuration changes to the system. Looking at the permissions of standard user, we can see from the amount of permissions ticked. There are very few permissions that a standard user enabled as default. They are allowed to pause and resume recordings for the purpose of PCI compliance. They can search their own recordings. They're also allowed to change their password. I'm currently logged in as an administrator, hence why most of the permissions are enabled. Downloading and using the desktop client is also a permission that needs to be enabled. There is also a default supervisor role. This allows users to access their own calls and those belonging to the team or group they are managing. They can also delete recordings, search for recordings, live listen, and view the dashboard. Creating a new role. For this role, we're going to create a role in between supervisor and administrator. This could be a role associated with someone that oversees all supervisors, such as a customer service manager. Click the New Role button and enter a name for the role. I'm going to enter this as CSM. I'm then going to copy the existing permissions from the supervisor role. And as we can see, the new role exists here, and the permissions are currently identical to the customer's supervisor role. However, in this role, I'm going to allow the customer service manager to view all calls on the system. I'm also going to allow them to delete and export recordings and share recordings, for example, with other senior staff. They will be allowed to tag and mask recordings, as that's a useful feature to have enabled when sharing recordings. As for configuration, they should be able to change their passwords, and depending on your organisation, you may wish to allow customer service managers to configure additional users. Once we've added those details, that role has now been saved and is available to be associated with a particular user. If we go back to the list of users, we can now add a user to that role. You can also view a list of users associated with a particular role.